So what's going on, guys? Welcome everybody to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the forgotten stepchild of PUBG. This seems to be the most forgotten extension of this game. In fact, it was supposed to be the entity that was available for everybody, would be able to be supported on all kinds of platforms. Originally only available in very particular countries in the world, but trying to expand its way to everywhere, including North America. This project never really got there. In fact, if you're anywhere in North America at all and you want to play this game, the only way it's possible is with a VPN. So why did PUBG Lite get abandoned? Why was this created and really no longer sees much updated support? We're going to be answering that question in today's video and examining the game a little bit. And before we jump into it, if you guys don't mind, dropping a thumbs up on the video is completely free and it helps out a lot. Subscribe if you are brand new and you haven't done so already. And the only reason this was possible and this gameplay was able to be obtained is because of our sponsor, NordVPN. Today's video is brought to us by NordVPN, the best VPN service around. Did you know that your internet service provider collects all of your data and can sell it to other companies or even the government? Yeah, you heard that right. All of your rather questionable internet searches and suspect things you put into that search bar are all saved in your data collection. However, with NordVPN, you are given absolute security. Using an encrypted tunnel between your system and the internet, it acts as a buffer to keep all of your data safe, and you can literally appear anonymously from just about anywhere in the world. And not only is your data completely secure, but you also get perks like being able to access things from other regions. If there are specific games that you can only play in a certain part of the world, you can actually connect to that part of the world and play that game. Or you can also go on Netflix and access exclusive titles only available to a specific region. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cool unlocking different parts of the internet that you really don't have access to. Don't worry, it works on just about every system and device ever, including your mobile devices, which is a huge plus. You can get NordVPN right now for 2 years at a 68% off discount plus an additional month for free, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. It really doesn't get any better than this, lads. So go check it out, NordVPN. Thank you so much. Links in the description down below. PUBG Lite was originally developed as an adjunct to the full game on Steam of PUBG PC. Now, the main purpose in developing this mode compared to the PC edition is PUBG Lite was supposed to be significantly easier on lower-end PCs. You were supposed to get the roughly same experience alongside the gunplay and all the mechanics that make PUBG enjoyable, but with much less of a toll on your computer. And just visually speaking, when you look at it, it's this like weird amalgamation of PUBG PC and PUBG Mobile. It combines elements from both and sort of puts them into a blender. Prior to this video, I had never played PUBG Lite. I had only observed other people who had access to the game at the time, and I figured I would wait until it gets released in North America to play it, really try it out, and form a solid opinion when I'm actually have full-on access to the game. And that was around a year and a half ago, and I think it's safe to say at this point that PUBG Lite is probably never releasing in NA amongst other regions as well. Besides the obvious visual stuff that are differences and key differences between this and PUBG PC, there are also a lot of subtle ones as well, namely gun recoil. This was actually the most obvious thing that I picked up on immediately, was that guns just felt a lot different, and I was trying to do some experimenting to determine what was different about them from the actual regular mechanics. And in PUBG PC, all of the guns have like realistic and nuanced recoil. What I mean by that is some of the changes and deviation of how your gun actually handles, it's a lot more realistic, and you know, there are subtle differences between them. PUBG Lite recoil is not quite as nuanced, and it usually just tends to kick really hard up or down. It's hard to explain, but it just feels like you have a little bit less control even with an experienced hand. It just feels like there's almost less you can do as an experienced player to control a certain weapon without attachments. It doesn't feel refined enough, I think would be the best way to put it. The gun recoil is a lot more raw. Another huge difference between these games is how you spot enemies. Now, interestingly, there is actually a minimap in your bottom right that you can use not only to guide yourself about where you are in proximity to the zone, but also gunfire from enemies will visually appear on your map. Now, it's not like a Call of Duty minimap where they're going to appear in their exact location as red dots. However, it will give you a general direction on where the gunshot sounds are coming from. For example, you will hear a gun over the hill, and it will also guide you visually about where that shot came from. PUBG Lite also seems to be a little bit behind in terms of updates. In fact, they don't even have Kraken as a map, and I'm not sure if there are plans to bring it in. Now, I talked to the PUBG developers about this particular map. A lot of you guys maybe have have heard this, but Kraken was actually not supposed to be one of the, let's say, real maps in the BR rotation. It was a limited time game mode event, players liked it enough, and they just left it in the queue, and so they feel like it would be a negative if they were to remove it now, but I don't think they're actually going to be developing it for PUBG Lite, which is kind of just like the summary of this game in general. Despite all of the differences between PUBG PC visually and PUBG Lite, I was actually very surprised about how well this ran and how smooth it looked. Of course, the textures and the graphics are not going to be anywhere comparable to running like ultra settings on the real version, but you know, it has that plasticky look, but at the same time, I think that kind of fits for a game like this. Now, PUBG Lite was developed with, I'm sure, great intentions in mind, but I think that this project is going to ultimately just see less support as time goes on and will probably never be released in North America or other regions that have not got it yet as well. The biggest reason behind that is that it's free to play. Now, interestingly, PUBG Lite actually has a pretty reasonable player base. Like, it's actually not too hard to find a queue at all. There's virtually no bots or anything like that. The problem is that it's also free to play, so there's an incredible amount of cheaters that are still swarming PUBG Lite, and another big reason it will probably never be released in North America is they want the general population of NA probably playing the PC version if they can run it, which I don't know if this is true, but I feel like most people can at least. And very similarly to pretty much adding any piece of new content, releasing another free-to-play PUBG game would only split more of the player base away from the PC edition, you know, making its own problems significantly worse. The saddest part about it all is looking at the timeline of PUBG Lite. This was their development cycle, and the last update they posted, they say, our developers have worked tirelessly to get Lite up to speed, getting us launched over 100 countries with all the classic PUBG maps. As we have accomplished our primary mission mentioned above, we came to the difficult conclusion that Vikendi would be the final content update for PUBG Lite after careful consideration. As some of you remember, PUBG Lite was actually one of the first PUBG entities to really test out Team Deathmatch. They had a very specific cutout map called Bodhi that, and because it was successful there, they implemented it into mobile and then finally into real PUBG PC, where the concept of that was fully fleshed out, but it really began in PUBG Lite. Now, the servers of PUBG Lite are going to stay up probably for a long time, and it's still playable even to this day. Of course, if you're in North America or other regions where it's not available, then you're going to need a VPN, but other than that, it seems to be one of those things where it's like, it was the first entity of PUBG to really come to an end. It had a start point and it's ended off with a finish point with Vikendi, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be changing anytime soon. What was the original intention behind PUBG Lite? Was it supposed to go worldwide and continue to receive updates alongside PUBG Steam on PC? We may never know, but ultimately they have made the decision to discontinue support and putting effort into PUBG Lite, and I think the best decision that could come out of this is I hope they're, you know, using that development time to maybe create a brand new entity of PUBG, and this might be a little bit of a stretch, and I'm going to make a video talking about this further, but I would like to see maybe not only this effort force and also alongside developers of PUBG PC to develop a PUBG entity to sort of reunite the player base, because PUBG Lite cannot play with PUBG PC. However, if they were able to redesign PUBG from the ground up, then maybe we wouldn't have to split between two games, and even low-end PCs could play with everyone. PUBG Lite seemed like an ambitious product with really good intentions at the time, and it is rather unfortunate that it has come to a close. It's no longer going to see any more content from this point out. However, it is one of those things that you can still go and play and enjoy right now in 2020, and will likely remain in this state for probably some years to come. If you guys have ever played PUBG Lite or still do continue to play it, let me know what you think about it down below in the comment section. It was just a really interesting take on the game that I hadn't really looked at before, and I'm glad I checked it out. What also surprised me is PUBG Lite is an extension of PUBG, and there's an extension of PUBG Lite called PUBG Mobile Lite. At this point in time, I'm really convinced that they got to make a PUBG 2 and they've got to reconsolidate all this, but that would be like, I would say, a true renaissance of this game if they're able to pull that off. But it was a really interesting case study today looking at PUBG Lite and the differences between the two games. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think about PUBG Lite, and if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you are brand new. Also, go follow me on Twitch if you haven't already, links in the description down below. I stream almost every day, and it's not always PUBG, but go check it out, come say hi. But anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all on the next stream or the next video. Take it easy, and peace out.